What's up, Zookeepers? Welcome back to episode 3 of Old School Sunday. I got the big 1, 2, 3 on the table. This is my teenage childhood years right here that y'all see. Man, we finna have some fun with this video. I told y'all I'm a Sega fanboy. All the stories, my console wars started right here. This is some of my original stuff, not all of it. I wasn't that fortunate as a kid. Let's get to this video. I am excited. I am so excited. Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. All right, the Genesis / Mega Drive is the third console from Sega released in 1998. The Genesis, which they rebranded, came to North America in '89. The Genesis lasted from 1988, you guys, to 1997. But it's a little catch in there. I'm gonna tell you the catch. Everybody remember the Sega for the Edge of Sounds. The Model 2 released in 1994, 4 years after the Super Nintendo came out, and a lot of people had the Model 2 in their home. Now, what I was telling you about to Catch-22, Majesto, upon a license by Sega, released the Genesis 3 with a 6-button controller, and the Majesto kept the Sega Genesis alive for 2 more years from 1998 to 1999. And then we got the infamous Nomad, it released in 95, and the Minister, the Gun, released in 1992. Rip, you see that? Boy, you ain't the only one that your system got a super gun. We're going to talk about this gun. We're going to talk about everything. Let's get to the video. Childhood. Let's go. Now, this Genesis right here is my original Genesis that I had. And I used to play all the time. That's the jump. Marlo, Brian, my nephew, Rippy. Everybody got some from this console. I did upgrade later when it came out to the Model 2. My boy Rippy helped me upgrade. It was a little secret they did back in the day. I don't want to say nothing about that. Let's get to the video. Now, when the Genesis Model 1 and Model 2 released, it had a 3-button controller. Infamous. I love that controller. I have big hands. It's fit perfect with the boomerang controller. Like I said, for most fighting games, you had to press start. A, B, and C was a punch. You press start. A, B, and C turned to your kick. It was not a big deal to me. I learned how to work it. Most people, as more technical fighting games came out, they preferred the 6-button controller. The 6-button controller versus the 3-button controller is, man, look at that. That's a blip in the map. Man, I was rubbing different buttons when I got this controller. It's light. I don't know, it just don't feel like a Sega Genesis controller. To me, Sega will always be a 3-button controller. That's me. Now, this is the infamous Minister. Here go the games. It released with 6 games as well as Super Scope. You guys, I'm gonna be honest. I recently picked this up mainly for this video to show Rip that we got a gun too. And our gun was massive. Our gun is just as menacing, which is hence the name Minister, as the Super Nintendo gun. Look at that kid right there, Rip. And I want y'all to check out the design at the end of the box. These black checkerboards is a continuation for the Sega Master System design. Sega Master System design was black and white, and when the Sega Genesis came out, they designs was black. White and black, and then Sega Genesis made it black and white. Then they went to the red. That's, like I said, that's where we released up on the a party called Majesto. But everybody remember the Sega Genesis had the little reds, and even their spines had it. But at the first beginning, like I told y'all, from the Sega Master System, they spine with black and white checkerboard, just like the the Sega Master System. Now, this is my original game. Let me move this. I'm so excited you guys don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. First, like kid in the candy store. You can see Sonic the Hedgehog. Classic. They used to give you real games, not no downloadable crap. Real games, everything is CIB that you see up here. These are my childhood games. I got some more childhood games, but these are the ones I want to highlight. These are not all my games. This is not all my collections. I got a surprise for y'all. Just stay tuned and let me do my thing. Sonic the Hedgehog. Man, my friend, best friend, Marlo, was the first one to have a Genesis. Rip had the Super Nintendo day one. Marlo had a Genesis when we still were playing Nintendo. Because like I told you guys, this system released in 1988. The regular NES was still relevant. Marlo got it Christmas of that year. He had this game, and he knew how to beat it. And me and Rip sat back like students of the game and watched him beat the whole game in one setting. It took about 6 hours. Classic, fun. I couldn't wait to get my own. I did the same. Everybody knows Supersonic. It's a lot. And now, like I said, I got more games to show y'all, but let me just roll through them. Now, this is a game that fell by the wayside. Arcade hit. Realistic graphics, because the Sega CD did realistic people in the game. I like the game. I actually loved the game at one point. It became, as later on games got more technical, it became like unresponsive. It became clunky. But Pit Fighter always holds a special place in my heart. I just played this at the arcade, and the Sega Genesis had an excellent port to me. Now, Twisted Metal, fans of the PlayStation, y'all think Twisted Metal were the first combat vehicle assault game? No. Combat cars. I don't know literally was this the first, but it was the first I played, and this came out, Genesis came out way before the PlayStation, but combat cars is just like Twisted Metal. You had missiles, you had rockets, every vehicle had a special weapon that they did. And this game was the precursor to Twisted Metal. And Brian, my nephew, hated me on that game, and so did Marlo. Nobody won while I was on the joystick. Moving along, what can you say about that right now? Golden Axe. Great arcade port. Sega was on top of their game when they released it, man. Legendary. Viking to the guy with the sword to the lady, man. I love this game. We were still playing this game through the 32-bit era of the PlayStation. We still came back to play Golden Axe. We still came back to play Double Dragon, like I told you guys. Here we go. What I told y'all, Eternal Champions. This was my shiznit. Look at Blade. And the dude actual name Blade. I don't know how they got away from Marvel, but the dude looked like Blade and his name was Blade, and I loved it. This is the best close port to Mortal Kombat that you can get. This game gave you finishing moves in sort of like a board style fatality. You had to kill them in a certain spot, and then the board reacted and gave them a finishing move. And so what we did was, when you lost your second round and you had a little bit energy with no chance of winning, we just let the controller go and let the person pretty much finish him, because that was the only way to really do it, because everybody knew the spot of the finishing move. So you moved away from it to rob the second player of the finishing move. So what we did was, collectively, my unit, when you was on your second loss and you had that much energy, you just gave up on it. Unless it was close. Now, unless it was close, we kept the party going. But for the most part, you gave up on it, so somebody can do they finishing move. NBA Jam, again, great port from the arcade. Super Nintendo had the same game. It's another game, tournament edition. I'm gonna show y'all a little bit later. NBA Jam, big part of my childhood. One of the best basketball arcade style games. I love the quirkiness. I love the gliding from the free throw. I love everything about this game. Now I'm finna get these in collections. I hope the stack don't fall. Don't fall. Yes. God is a man. Mortal Kombat Ultimate. John Tobias, cause I ain't talking to you, Ed Boon, man. I'm mad with you, man. Mortal Kombat 3. These are original now. Mortal Kombat 2. And Mortal Kombat. I told y'all, John and Ed, I've been playing y'all game for years. Champ. I couldn't be beat, man. Anybody came to my house, I couldn't be beat. It was no win if I got on the stick. I used to go around the room of 20 people constantly. I just got tired of playing and just gave them playtime so they could play each other. Everybody know me, know that facts. Champion, man. I told y'all. I kept telling y'all, this is my shiznit, man. John Tobias, man, please, man. Let me mop the floor, man. Please, just let me make coffee on 2 days out the week, man. Please, just bring me to the NetherRealm studio, man. Please. But yeah, you guys, this is this is my ultimate childhood. Man, I remember I used to just eat cereal and just watch the computer play the little demo thing on Mortal Kombat 2. Man, it was so epic. Mortal Kombat 3 and Ultimate changed the game with combos. Some people liked it, some people didn't. I adapted to it. They tried to compete with Killer Instinct, so to speak. Did it feel like a Mortal Kombat 2 and 3? Yes and no. They sped up the fast pace on it. And with the combo system, like I said, it was a learning curve. Any game had a learning curve to me. I'm just gonna get the game down because I don't want them to fall. And it did. See, Zuku, I had a premonition. Well, that's okay. That is okay. I'll clean that up just like that right there. No harm, no foul. Let's continue. Let's keep the party going. X-Men. This game, the one I showed y'all on the Super Nintendo, was not in competition with this game. I actually got the game that was in competition with the one in Super Nintendo that I told y'all about. Great game. It gave you Nightcrawler, which was infamous from the other game. Once you did a special move, like when Wolverine, once you had his claws out, your energy drain, like it was an excellent side scroller to me once you got through the learning curves. 2 players at the same time. I can't say enough about 2 players at the same time games. I love it. We'll always love it. But the next X-Men game that came out for the Super Nintendo and for the Genesis was better to me, but I still love that one. Near and dear to my heart. Spider-Man, which I told y'all on the Super Nintendo, I came back home and played it on the Genesis. I played it for Super Nintendo with my friend Rippy. Came back home and played it on the Genesis. Same thing with Batman Forever. I showed y'all on the Super Nintendo. Like I said, I wasn't crapping on the Super Nintendo, but I had these games on the Sega Genesis, and Genesis is where my love at for the 16-bit console. Now, like I told you, I do adore the Super Nintendo, but my love is coming home to Sega Genesis. That's what I was used to. That's what I was accustomed to, and that's why my 16-bit nostalgia lies is with the Genesis. Move this over, make room. Justice League, as I told y'all, Justice League Task Force, it's a fighting game, like I showed y'all on the Super Nintendo video. It's a fighting game with DC characters. A lot of people didn't know about it. It wasn't big, but it was Superman versus Batman. It was all your your classic matchups right here in one game. Infamous Double Dragon. This is the one I told you. Me, Marlo, Brian, Rippy. We would play PlayStation all day. And then we would go back. We would go back after playing them all day, and we'll play Double Dragon, and then we would play Golden Axe. We would like literally beat them in rotation with the games that we were playing that was brand new at the time, because these were just classic. Arch rivals. Fun, quirky. One of my first games I had on the Sega Genesis. That's my boy. I forgot his name with the Mohawk. But everybody know Arch Rivals. It was a assault basketball game. Still quirky, still fun today. Now here go the first release arcade stick. I didn't have an arcade stick as a child. I was more of a controller guy. Some people preferred the arcade sticks, bringing it home. When I used to try to play the arcade stick, it felt funny to do it at home. But again, that's just me. But here's the 3-button arcade stick. I'm going to move this to the side because I'm making my way back, Zookeepers. And y'all will see why. Okay, here goes the 6-button controller. Same thing. It ain't nothing but the 3-button with the with 6 buttons on it. This is like a matte black finish. This is like a piano marble finish. Same thing. Gave you A, B, and C, X, Y, Z. Well, it gave you some turbo features, but well, here go the turbo features on this. Same joystick. Like I said, not a big arcade stick guy. Tried it. I prefer a controller in my hand, but that's just me. Some people prefer an arcade stick. Now, you see that big old thing in the back? Video game organizer. Some people had that for an Atari, which I got for the Atari. I didn't have it as a childhood for my Atari, but I got it now for my Atari. But I had this, my brother. This is my original Sega Genesis Model 1 box. This is my original Sega video game organizer box. That's my original Sega Genesis 2 box. But these are what you seen in my household. So when you came to my house, right on the side of my TV, I had a 13-inch Sony TV. Classic. Again, you guys, this was back in, what it would have been, probably 92. 1990, probably 90, because I didn't get it when it very first released. This is what you seen when you came to play. Like my PlayStation. Hold on, you guys. All right, my PlayStation and my Sega Saturn sat on top of this. So when we got tired of playing them, we took out the top. And this is what you seen in my unit. Now, I did swap this out and put my Sega Model 2 in here so I could fit some more games. But this is how you seen. This compact, packed to the rim, all of this was how this thing sat in my own household. Now, these are some super games. You got Sonic and Knuckles. I already showed y'all Sonic 1 complete in box. You got Sonic 2. You got Sonic 3, which is Sonic and Knuckles is a continuation. You open up the cart, stick it on like so. Stick it in the Genesis, boom. You got 2 games in one. Here goes Sonic Spinball. Sonic 3D Blast. This game was not a Sonic game. And then they ported it to the Saturn thinking it was going to be better, and it wasn't. Here goes Sonic Classic. They gave you all three games on one. Here goes the legendary Lion King. Lion King came out for the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and the Sega Genesis. It was only notably a couple of games that was better on the Genesis. Notably, like meaning undeniably, better, without a doubt. Everybody had their own opinions, but Lion King and the other one was Aladdin. I do not have Aladdin, but Lion King we played. At first I thought it was kiddie, then I got into it with the storyline, exactly like the cartoon that came out. Epic, even the ending. I love this game, and we stayed beating this game um for a long time. Coming Zone, man, this game was a side-scrolling beatable set inside of a comic book setting. It was not hard, but it was challenging. I don't think we ever beat this game because I can't remember the ending. But Coming Zone, one of the staples on the Genesis to have. Another game, my guy, Booger Man. Yes, Booger Man. He actually picked boogers and can flick it on you for a move. Booger Man, man, it was disgusting. It's set inside the sewers. It was very quirky. It was gross. But it was a good game, good side-scrolling beat 'em up. I love Booger Man to this day. I know we beat this game. I can't remember the ending, but I know we beat it because it wasn't that hard. But it's been years. Here go the second NBA Jam. You see TE, which is the tournament edition. Basically, it was NBA Jam with a few more players on it and upgraded voice. You know, the commentators had their little boom shakalaka little sayings that they did. So the tournament edition brought you some more Alta Beast. You can see the little Sega Master System continuation graphics on it. It was one of the original. Same thing with Sonic 2. All the early parts had the little Sega Master System black and white. But Alta Beast classic arcade port. I loved it. It came on the Master System, but Alta Beast on the Genesis was classic. Very easy game. Quick game too. It was you could beat that game in probably about 20 minutes, really. But yeah, Alta Beast, one of the Sega staples. Primal Rage arcade port. Super Nintendo had one. The Rock did the movie with George in it. That's where this game come from. The gorilla, the T-Rex. It's same as the movie, but this game was an arcade. This is the Sega port. It was an okay game. Shinobi 3. Right? And Sega had their own ninja, but I mean Nintendo had Ninja Gaiden, but Shinobi was Sega boy. That was Sega mascot. Shinobi 3, very hard ninja game. I prefer Shinobi on the Master System, but I go to Shinobi 3. Shinobi kind of faded into existence, but that was one of the top IPs ever. It was a arcade masterpiece. Here go the infamous Splatterhouse, which gave you a character like Jason. He don't look like that, but he do wear a hockey mask, walking around with sticks, axe, and chopping up enemies. The gore, the blood. He was known for it. Splatterhouse. My boy, this is what I told y'all. Now I told y'all on the Switch video, Shaq, and the Super Nintendo video, Shaq Fu, original, my original copy. See the little edge of this is my original copy. Still got it to this day. If you came to my house, you had to play this game. It wasn't a great fighter. That's my boy Shaq. I was always supported. That man is a genius. Shackums. Now, I showed y'all Golden Axe over here. Here go Golden Axe 2, which is a better iteration for it to me. Now, what you see right here is Golden Axe 3. Now, this game didn't come to North America, but it was a guy offline was porting it for North America onto a cartridge for me. And I got him to do it. That's why it looks so different. This is not official, but yet it is the game in a physical form. I don't even know what happened to my Streets of Rage 3, but there goes Streets of Rage 1. Classic, gave you Skate Brother. And there go the infamous Streets of Rage 2. That set the Genesis apart. Super Nintendo had Final Fight. Genesis fan, we had Streets of Rage. Now, I do got Streets of Rage 3. I don't know where it's at. It resides probably in some consoles, but I do got Streets of Rage 3, but they had another third iteration of the game. Here go the turtles that I was telling y'all about on the Super Nintendo video. This is Turtles Hyperstone Heist. And they go the same Turtles Tournament Fighters. I told you when I played it over Real House, that was his Turtles. I came home and played my Turtles. This is my original game. That's my original game. And like I said, that's why he used to win so much, because I was used to playing it on the Genesis. And then when I went over his house, he had the Super Nintendo, so he had a little home field advantage. Real, you ain't slick. But now this is the best X-Men to me out of all three systems, including the first X-Men. Now the one on the Super Nintendo would be the best, but it suffered from, you couldn't pick your characters when you started off. And like I said, I was Wolverine, and everybody in my house was always specific characters, and we wanted to have it. And this game gave it to you with better graphics than the first one, better style beat 'em up. It's the best version out of the consoles to me. Same game I showed y'all on Super Nintendo. I told you it had a certain iteration that came to the Sega Genesis, and this is it, Spider-Man and X-Men, Arcade Revenge. Same thing, side-scroller beat 'em up. Now this game here, Maximum Carnage, Super Nintendo got a version of this. It's in the red cartridge too. It's the first time that we got to play Carnage on the video game. Side-scroller beat 'em up. Very, very, very highly sought after and coveted game. Credible Hulk, classic. I told y'all I'm a big Marvel fan. That go the same game I showed y'all on the Super Nintendo. Captain America, I told y'all I didn't know if they had a Genesis version, but they do. Nothing more to talk about except for the, they're the same game. Side-scrolling beat 'em up. Nothing memorable to me. Superman, like I told you, I'm a big DC fan. They go the same game I showed y'all on Super Nintendo. That's what, excuse me and my friend, we played on each other consoles to see what was different, what was better, and that's how some of our fights started. We didn't have a physical fight, but me and Rippy, boy, we went at it with words. Decapitate, you play with decapitated head, throwing it at enemies, and Vector Man. Everybody know Vector Man. I wasn't a really big fan of Vector Man, but it was an okay side-scrolling beat 'em up to me. It was okay, but a lot of people play it, highly coveted. These are some of the best cartoons that was out at the time. Beavis and Butthead came from MTV. All Real Monster was on Nickelodeon, and when you got the game, when you got the chance to play them on game. Now, it is another version on Super Nintendo that's, I think, a bit better, but like I said, it's tit for tat. Now, these games, besides Shaq Fu, when you see these little games, these are your sports titles. Now, I normally don't show sport titles, but these was very inspirational. These were very, we played these games a lot. I have nostalgia for it. They gave you special moves on a basketball game. You heard me? They gave you like Hadoukens on a basketball game. Jordan vs. Bird, this came from the NES, but it was a better port, better graphics. But these are the games that had special moves. Bull versus Blazers, Bull versus Lakers, and Lakers versus the Celtics. Now, when I say special moves, like if you get into a spot with your main character, he went and did his signature move. Like Jordan, I can't think if he did a glide from the free throw or something, but like it was a guy named Rex. He used to do a pump from the corner that you couldn't stop. That was almost from the key. Like these games, if you got into a certain spot with your player, they did their own signature special moves, and we used to kill these games because everybody had their own character. Magic Johnson, David Robertson, Clyde Drexler. Everybody had their own special version. But these are some, like I said, these are not all of my Genesis games, but when you came to my house MC. Everybody came to my house to play. Like I said, my house was the arcade. That's what you seen side by side on my TV. And when I opened that up, boy, everybody just, man, what you got? What games you got? You got this, you got this. That was like the toy shack. And so I had to make sure I incorporate that in the video because that's how you came to play at my house. And I couldn't do it no justice but to show it the way I did because that's what you seen. Now let's move along. Like I said, here go the Genesis Model 2, which is my original Model 2. Came out with Sonic. Same thing, gave you a case. I think the case is inside the box. And there go the infamous Genesis Model 3. A lot of people didn't even know Model 3, man. This thing is so light and so little. It's basically the size of your hand. I had a partner who put this in his car. He had like a car TV. And he put this in his car. But the Genesis was way out of production when this came out. Like I said, the Majesto kept the Genesis alive 2 more years. So you think about 1999, this thing was relevant. So nobody really playing a lot of Genesis in 99 except for hardcore fans. Now, here go the Sega Nomad. This is the first Nintendo Switch I'm gonna use Iconic. Let's go Iconic. It was the first Nintendo Switch before Nintendo Switch. And what it was just what it is. It's a portable Sega Genesis. And this game had incredible sound. It used the battery pack. Sega Game Gear and the Nomad were infamous about using batteries. And what it did, it gave you another controller port. So when I had a friend who wanted to play, all you had to do was plug his controller into the controller port, get to him, and you use this and y'all play on one screen. Very innovative. Not only that, it outputted to the TV, AV out. DC in, that's your power, but it outputted to the TV. And you could play it on TV, on your TV. Sega Nomad, very innovative, very highly sought out for collectors. I didn't own one as a kid. I wasn't fortunate enough for that. But this is my teenage years. This is my original boxes. Like I said, I'm not going to front that Minister I bought recently for that video to show Rip that we had a gun too. Not that I could afford it, Rip. Your Super Scope ain't nothing compared to our Minister, boy. But yeah, you guys, this is it. I hope y'all enjoy Sega as much as I do. I'm going to keep bringing y'all all these videos. Like I told you guys, 500, I'm going to reveal my face. Let's get this channel up to 500. Y'all can see how the silverback look. And y'all might recognize me, man. I was on Planet of the Apes. I was in one of the scenes as a gorilla. But we'll talk about that later. But look, you guys, please comment, like, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to like and sub on my channel. I'm your favorite gorilla. I'm being loud on my chest because I'm happy, man. It's almost like I got a full course meal here. I'm being on my chest, and I'm out.